I've been using the DJI Air 2S now for the past couple months for landscape photography, and today I'm ready to make my full review, so let's jump right in. What's up y'all, it's Project Photography back with another video, and today before we get started, make sure to follow all my socials down in the link below. And now I've been using my DJI Phantom 3 Standard for the longest time. And you know, that was my first drone and I wasn't super familiar with aviation and so on. But now getting the DJI Air 2S is actually allowing me to shoot a lot of landscape photography and capture some amazing images that I would not have otherwise captured. So today in this video, we're gonna be talking about packability, the flying experience, the image quality, and then the conclusion. So when it comes to the packability of the DJI Air 2S, it has been a major selling point for me in my landscape photography because I've been able to pack it in along with my Nikon 14-30 as well as my 24-200, and then I'm able to pack in the drone itself as well as the controller without having any worry about having to take anything out. And this has been incredible for me because when I'm going and shooting landscape photography, I want to make sure to have all the gear I have. And on top of it being super lightweight and compact, it is also very light, weighing in at about 595 grams. Now that's really, really good. That's about the size of a Nikon Z6. And this is important for me because when I'm hiking on these long hikes, I want to be able to have lightweight gear that I don't feel like is weighing me down in any way. I can travel for longer distances and be a lot more comfortable. So the packability and along with the compact and lightweightness has been incredible for me in my landscape photography. But now I really want to talk about the flying experience because for me, the flying experience has been probably the best aspect of this drone. And now the DJI Phantom 3 Standard that I had could only go about like a third of a mile before it lost out connection. But this DJI Air 2S can go 7.5 miles. Now, that is absolutely insane, and I have not gone that far because I just haven't needed to. But the fact that you can go that far in the first place is absolutely insane. The only problem is the battery life that I have found has a hard time keeping up with that sort of distance. So even if I wanted to go that far, I wouldn't be able to stay that far for that long because the battery is definitely a play. You have to worry about the drone coming back and so forth. But the great part is even if I'm like 3-4 miles out, it doesn't lose connection as long as you have a direct line of sight to the drone itself. Because I've noticed that when I'm flying it and I have, let's say, like a shrub or like a bush or a mountain in the way, it will lose connection. So that's just one thing I really have to make sure of when I'm flying is that I have an open direct connection to the drone. But even for me, like a radius of like 4 miles is honestly more than enough. When I'm shooting at these places doing landscape photography, I'm not even going that far anyways. I'm probably going max like 2 miles. So just having it be at 7.5 miles is just so insane. And now I've talked a lot about battery life, and battery life on this drone is really good. Like I said, you're not gonna be able to go like 7.5 miles out and stay out there for a while because you do have that flight back, but it's actually been really good for what I need. When I'm out there shooting, I'm only using about like 40% of the battery, honestly, on a full charge. Like you do get around 31 minutes of full flight time, but for me, I have never really used all that much. The most I've gone down to is like maybe 20%, which is a big reason why I don't carry a second battery. Now, I know for a majority of, drone pilots out there that want to do photography with it, you definitely should bring another battery. But for me, because I'm shooting landscape photography, the drone is just one aspect and one piece of gear out of the 2 other cameras that I have available to me in my Nikon 14-30 as well as the 24-200. It's not really necessary for me to carry an extra battery, and I would rather have the more lightweightness and bring other stuff like a rocket blower or my filters and so forth over carrying another battery. And the last thing about the flight experience that's really positive is the fact that it's much quieter than probably any other drone I've used. Now, this is really important because if you guys know and you fly around a lot of people, they get kind of frightened and freaked out a bit when you're flying a drone. Not sure why, but it's something that I think people will definitely worry about. So it being quieter is definitely a huge help to the drone experience itself, not attracting as much attention around you, and overall just making it a much more pleasing ride. So the next thing I really think we need to talk about is image quality. Now, I'm actually quite surprised on this drone because the image quality is actually quite good. With this 1-inch sensor and having 20 megapixels definitely allows you to capture a lot more than a simple 12 megapixel sensor. And the image quality itself is very good. It has nice punchy colors and you are able to edit in Lightroom with RAW, and that's exactly what I do all the time. And it's really good for me because when I'm actually pushing the shadows and so forth, I actually push it quite a bit, but you can't push it a whole lot. There are definitely some limits to the files itself, and you have to make sure and be very cognizant of that when you're actually picking up a drone like this. If you want like pure the best image quality possible, the Mavic 3 makes a lot more sense just because it's a Micro Four Thirds sensor. But still, we're getting 1-inch sensor image quality, and honestly, it's really not that bad at all. One thing I like is I can shoot for the highlights and bring up the shadows in post, and it'll still come out with pretty clean images, but it does lead to some noise even if you're shooting at ISO 100. And that's something I think that's pretty prominent in majority of drones, so it's something you have to definitely look out for. But the detail in terms of sharpness is actually quite good. It does get a bit softer at the corners, but overall in the center, it is actually quite good. And the problem with, I think, shooting drones and measuring sharpness is that you're shooting stuff from very far away, and there's gonna be a lot of atmospheric conditions in the way, so it's not really the drone's fault, it's just the conditions that you're in. But overall, I think we were able to get pretty decently sharp images, which is something that I definitely care about as a landscape photographer. So when it comes to image quality, this is absolutely not your everyday full frame mirrorless camera. I mean, we're just getting different image quality, and it's not necessarily better, but it really doesn't have to be, because we have to remember that this is a drone. Like, if you wanted full frame image quality, you would have to go to like the Inspire 2, which is like easily like 16 grand. I have no idea how much it costs. I just know it's a lot of money. Whereas this drone, I only picked it up for $700 refurbished on eBay. To get this kind of image quality and this type of package in a drone like this at a price at this point is actually incredibly hard to do, which is why I think this drone is incredible for its price. And I think the way you have to go at this drone is that you have to treat it like another lens in your bag. It's not necessarily going to get you better image quality, but it is going to get you a perspective that you would not be able to get if you're using your regular camera gear. And there's a lot of value in that. And being able to shoot at, you know, incredible heights and get different perspectives and different looks at the same landscape that a 14 to 30 probably won't be able to get is just absolutely stunning. So with that being said, let's jump right on into the conclusion. And overall, the DJI Air 2S provides an incredible quality for the flight experience that you have, for the image quality that you get, and for the packability, because at the end of the day, you want something small, lightweight that you can take around with you anywhere and not feel like it's going to take up a bunch of space in your bag. It makes it just an absolute joy to fly. And on top of it, with incredible image quality, you're going to capture images that are just going to wow everybody around you. And so for me, this is absolutely something that I would love to keep in my bag based off of where I'm shooting, of course, because you know it's hard to shoot in certain places here in Southern California, mainly because we have a lot of drone laws restricting it. And that is actually a topic for another video. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think of the DJI Air 2S down in the comment section down below. And what is the drone that you would love to have for your landscape photography? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for experiencing the world with me today. Please feel free to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.